last year down there, it's only a breeze. Same as last time, just keep a hold of it. Yes. And what I'll do is I sort of turn it as I'm panning, zoom in, so rule of thumb, the closer you are to the centre, the wider your shot is, and then as you're moving there, you're not moving that tight, maybe sort of, you've seen games at hand, but you know the camera should look like this, you're moving it there, and then as you come back out, you're zooming out, and then as you go back in, you're zooming in. About that. Unless it's at a corner, you kind of go tight on the corner kick, and then you zoom out as it comes in. Player scores, you're zooming in the celebrations. Pre-match, you can put tight on this sort of thing. You did that. Sorry, I haven't worked away, just stuffing it all over my face. Yeah, it could be perfect. I'm going to put that point on up into the stairs.
Yeah.
Welcome along on this sunny evening to the south side of Glasgow. Hampden Park, Scotland's national stadium, has played host to some of football's most iconic games. Scotland Internationals, Scottish Cup finals, Champions League finals, and now once again the Scottish Amateur Cup final. The highlights in the amateur footballing calendar for thousands of players across the country. Now down to our final 22 on the field. It's Steins Thistle versus FC Payther in the 2025 final. I'm your match commentator Adam Binney. Alongside me my co-commentators Daniel McLeod and Jack Cranmere. Daniel, I'll start with yourself. How much are you looking forward to this one?
Well, you can really feel the atmosphere already in here. It's obviously Amateur Cup final, maybe a different sort of attendance than we'd expect from the Scottish Cup later this month, but speaking to some of the supporters from both sets of teams before this, you can really feel how much this means. It's palpable in here, and I think it's going to be a good occasion for all.
Yeah, it's set to be a fantastic occasion, in fact, fantastic game indeed. It'll be Stephen Dunnicky standing over the first kick-off of the match as we are now just seconds away from the 2025 Scottish Amateur Cup final. FC Payther of Wishaw against Steins Thistle of Allendale near Falkirk. Coming off, Stephen Dunnicky gets us underway and knocks it back to McGowan, who goes forward, which gives me a perfect chance to introduce our other co-commentator, Jack Cranmere. Jack, just how much are you looking forward to this one, and what do you think that will be going through these players' heads right now?
Immensely looking forward to it. I think the players will be buzzing to get a chance on such a big stage. I know it's not a full house, but the chance to play at Hampden is something players at every level will always dream of.
Yeah, spot on, Jack. I think kids up and down the country dream of moments like this, getting to play on such a storied stage as Payther try and wrestle possession back from Steins, but good pressure from DeLuca. Throw in to be taken by Taylor Scott on this near side. Both playing the same division in league football, in the Scottish Premier AFA. Steins top of the league, undefeated. Payther going well too in fifth. Still plenty of games to play, as is quite common at this time of the year with amateur football. As the ball set forward, looking for Dunnicky. Lovely touch with the right foot. Dunnicky has Allison to his right hand side. Kyle Allison swings it out to this right wing. What can Michael Wallace deliver? Pokes it in
Great
for Dunnicky. We've got an opening goal. Stephen Dunnicky with the header.
That is some start, and a knee slides right up to the rival fans there.
Do you like that celebration there, Daniel?
You know what, I've always got a bit of time for that, Adam, I can't lie. It's a cup final, it's going to be big for both teams. Why not start with a bit of fire? It's a fantastic header. Caught a little bit too open in the box there for me at this stage of the game. I don't know if it's still just that wee bit static from Pather, but an excellent delivery, excellent header, and what better way to start a cup final.
Yeah, what a way to start, and what a moment for that man as well. Stephen Dunnicky, a local boy, Banknock born and bred, gets his header, gets on the score sheet after multiple Scottish Cup final defeats before. I think of times of full in, this time with the Donner in at Sunday level as well. Now he gets his goal. Lovely header and a fantastic cross as well from Michael Wallace on the right hand side. Former professional, played at East Stirlingshire, Arbroath, a number of other clubs.
Right down that end as well, where all supporters are.
It's a chance for Pather to come forward. Decent effort there from Kyle Imrie. It's not going to trouble Thomas Elvin in goal. Yeah, Jack, we noticed the celebration from Dunnicky as well. It's the knee slide in front of us. Do you like that?
Still see the marks there on the park. Exactly what I want to see.
The groundsman will be raging. We've got the professional Scottish Cup final not too far away as Dunnicky picks up possession again, and that's going to come back out. Steins to go forward again as Cafferty just can't get his toe on it. Now Pather coming forward. Good defensive work there from Louis McPherson.
It did look like an opportunity there for DeLuca, just getting in behind. It's a good run, but just couldn't quite get the touch on it. Maybe that pass is a little bit too far ahead, but again the early pressure then coming in from Steins.
Solid defending from Dean Manson. Shrugs off his opposition number. Pather look to just try and get a foothold in this game. Here's Scott. Taylor Scott will be back for Matthew Craig.
Just from a mentality perspective, Adam, how does that change things for these Pather players going a goal down so early? How can that affect you?
I don't think it will affect them at all. It's an early goal. It's better than losing a late one. There's still plenty of time for them to get themselves back into this. I think the first few minutes of any cup final are going to be nervy, but particularly when you're playing in the National Stadium here at Hampden Park, you just cannot allow something like that to play on you mentally. The one thing I will say it does is give a massive boost for the Steins lads. If the adrenaline wasn't already pumping, then God, it will be now.
Yeah, you can see
Dunnicky gets across. He has
excellent bit of
McCafferty on
there.
the inside. Here's Dylan McCafferty. The swivel hips. Strong challenge from Kyle Allison. We know that's a feature of his game. Bustling midfielder.
Exactly what you'd expect from an amateur game.
I don't expect that to be the last sliding challenge from Allison.
Plenty of noise coming from support as well, which you love to see.
We've got a little ultras section, I believe, down the front of the FC Pather crowds. Little drum as Elvin makes a bit of a mess of the clearance now.
That was absolute chaos in there. It's still early in a cup final, obviously, but you don't want these nerves, especially when you've taken an early lead. Add that wee bit more on yourselves. Sometimes think even these half openings can give a team a bit more belief in these stages.
Since we're at such an iconic stadium, lads, Hampden Park, I'll ask you both for your favourite Hampden memories. Anything stick out?
For me, yeah, just looking over at that right corner there, certain Liam Henderson to deliver, whipping in a beautiful cross into the glistening forehead of David Gray in the 92nd minute of the 2016 Scottish Cup final to end a 114-year wait for Hibs. That for me is the standout iconic moment, but obviously plenty of memories for Scotland and Champions League and things like that as well before my time. What about you, Jack?
I was actually there that day, but I have very opposite memories from that game. I remember walking home and I don't think I spoke a word for a good few hours. Not been a great play for me personally. A good Scottish Cup semi, 2022. Other than that, pretty horrific memories for me personally here.
Well, we've got one on either side of the 2016 Scottish Cup final, but all attention today on the 2025 Scottish Amateur Cup final. Steins Thistle leading by a goal to nil, 6.5 minutes played. And an opportunity here for Pather to perhaps test Elvin for the first opportunity.
Good range, you'd say.
Lee Dixon. No, not that Lee Dixon. Will be taking the free kick. Dixon stands over it. And it goes in!
Wow.
What a goal!
Wow.
Lee Dixon bends one into the top left corner. And just as Donaghy hit, knee slides in front of the support. And wow, after an astonishing start from Steins Thistle, FC Pather get themselves back on level terms with the most remarkable of cup final goals.
Well, you speak about the Hampden roar, you can hear it down there from Pather, but what a free kick that is from Dixon. Just from that right side, just curling it in with his left right into the top corner. There's not a lot of chance there for Elvin in the goals. I just think it's maybe a wee bit too close to that far post, but what a goal to bring yourselves back into a game like this, and what a moment there for Dixon.
Now the
Goalkeeper.
pyrotechnics are now showing as well. We've got some atmosphere going. Sorry, Jack, interrupted you there.
The goalkeeper seems to have lost the ball there in the last bit of Hampden's sun, just shining on his goal. You can see him there holding his hand up to his face. I'm not sure if he'll get away with that excuse right enough.
Well, it's an interesting one when the lineups came out that Callum Gray wasn't the starting goalkeeper. Gray has played the majority of matches for Steins this season. He's also had some national recognition from the select squad. I wonder if it's perhaps carrying an injury. His poor pass from McCafferty.
There seems to be a wee bit of chaos down there in that left section in front of us. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Seems to be a mixed section anyway, which is always a brave decision for a cup final. Pyrotechnics being taken away. The fans aren't too happy about that one. Won't comment on how I feel about this particular issue in football.
No Pather, no party is the cry from the supporters is to get themselves back on level terms.
It's the corrected version.
Daniel, I think we couldn't have really asked for much more from the opening nearly 9 minutes of this.
It's absolutely perfect, to be honest. You always worry sometimes with these games, teams might be a wee bit cagey. You know, it's Hampden, it's a big occasion. It might get the better of them. How many times in a cup final do you get 1-1 after 9 minutes and 2 fantastic goals? Great atmosphere. I mean, that second one, absolutely wonderful. I'm just looking forward to the next 81 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah, they certainly don't look nervous. That's for sure. 22 players playing with their hearts on their sleeves.
Just seeing that free kick nestle into the net, bringing back memories of Lee Griffiths' famous 2 against England here many years ago now. Great to see another Scottish player find these moments for themselves.
Yeah, very similar actually.
Left foot.
What a moment.
Won't
Since
speak
that-
about the rest of it.
Since that equaliser, FC Pather seems to have had a bit more of the ball. Here's Taylor Scott with questionable back pass, avoids Gary Fleming as Matthew Craig can get us back playing. Here's James Gibbons. Pather just trying to slow things down a touch. Good touch, but Lewis McPherson knocks it back inside for Manson, who clears looking for DeLuca, but DeLuca's chested touch just evades him. Here's Gibbons again for Pather. Good turn as Pather look to try and play out, but Andrew McGowan picks up possession and was through the tackle. David Paris. Donaghy will try and get over, but it will be brought back for a Steins Thistle free kick on the halfway line.
I think another thing with such a frantic start is you've got to come into consideration is the fitness of these players. Obviously amateur, we could see a lot more goals coming towards the end of the game.
You're right, they're not going to be used to playing on pitches of this size. A lot of amateur football these days is played on AstroTurf too, so a different surface, but even the games on grass is certainly are not to the same standard of the bowling green we have here in Glasgow's south side.
Hampden can get criticised a lot, but it's looking absolutely beautiful today.
It looks amazing, doesn't it? Said a couple of knee slides, so I'm not sure the groundsman will be too happy with with that, with the professional Scottish Cup not too far away, as the ball comes back out to the edge of the area. Steins will try and work it again with Michael Wallace, just hangs one back up for McCafferty.
It's that Wallace delivery again, looks to be a common outlet here as they're attacking down that right flank. Exactly where that first goal came from. Can't blame the players for these knee slides. Playing on these Astral pitches, you're a brave man to be doing it on them.
Not the first time Michael Wallace has played at this ground. I believe in his lower league days would have played against Queen's Park on many occasions. There's McCafferty knocks it out of play.
Obviously good to see the Ball Boys both representing the clubs involved in this final. It's a great day for them as well, isn't it? It's a much wider club than just the 11 players who are starting this game.
It's just so good that the Scottish Amateur FA always host this final at the National Stadium. It really is I was going to say a once in a lifetime opportunity, but Steins Thistle were in this position a couple of years ago, losing out to Cooper Hearts, who then went on to beat them in the semi-finals last season, but Steins got their revenge in this year's semi-final to make it all the way to Hampden once more. FC Payther also enjoyed a prosperous run, semi-finals beating Drumchapel. Wasn't too long ago that they lifted this trophy too, Drumchapel. This ball's poked forward, but it's well marshalled by Manson as Elvin collects.
Looks like both sides matching here today in the 4-3-3 formation. Obviously very common across top level football as well. Interesting to see if any changes could happen throughout.
Could be in behind again here, but Elvin is off his line quickly, does well. Now Steins can try build. Here's McCafferty sent forward looking
It's a lovely
for the
way
run
of
of
pass.
DeLuca's trying to get the run on Fleming, but Fleming does well to defend initially. Strong play from Gary Fleming, receives an applause, but DeLuca wins it back as McCafferty surrenders possession again. And a chance for Steins. What can Wallace deliver this time? Michael Wallace, another poked one for the head of Allison. Just perhaps not enough pace on the delivery there, Daniel.
Maybe not enough, really. It's very tough to get your neck muscles behind that one and really get enough momentum to really challenge the goalkeeper. But again, Wallace getting down the line, getting balls in the box is exactly what you want from your right winger, and could prove a very dangerous outlet, has already.
Been very impressed with the balls in from the flanks myself. Very dangerous, very accurate. I think we could get some more joy down that side for the rest of the game.
Yeah, Michael Wallace, a dangerous player, veteran of the game these days, one of the older heads. I'm sure he won't mind me saying. Is
Great to see him still going though.
Of course.
Too many players these days, give up the ghost at a younger age than before, but it's good to see guys drop them down and keep playing the game for the love of the game.
I think Michael Wallace will be playing as long as his legs allow him to. Just as recently as this season, we're still playing Sunday amateurs as well. Before his side, Checkbar United, unfortunately folded. We've got a little bit of an issue here for David Paris, the FC Payther captain, a bit of trouble injured just now. Daniel, it's such a massive moment for Paris leading his team out here at a national final at the National Stadium. It would be a massive blow if he were to be unable to continue.
We can only imagine what's going through his head right now. The feeling to lead your team out here must be an immense, incredible pride. He does seem to be up now. He's obviously going to have to go off the pitch momentarily. If you're in his position, you're going to do anything to fight on and keep playing, and he doesn't look in too much discomfort as he goes off, maybe putting on a brave face. You would really hate to see the game ends so early here for him.
Yeah, you can see from the early stage he's a very good player as well, David Paris, so really hope that he's going to be able to continue for the sake of Payther and for all his adoring spectators to the left of the camera position.
I think from a Pather perspective as well, the last guy you want to go off is going to be your captain in this situation.
Yeah. Here's Taylor Scott over the throw-in. Lacking immediate option as Scott opts to go down the line. McGowan launches, clear, looking for Donachie. Donachie in a bit of a tussle with Fleming. Lovely work from Lewis McPherson. Drives forward, looks for that diagonal pass.
That is a fantastic ball.
Donachie, great touch from Donachie. He's taken out by Fleming.
Surely a penalty.
Referee points to the spot. A fantastic touch
there
initially from McPherson. An even better pass, and then the take from Donachie. Daniel, penalty for you?
110% penalty there for me. Donachie just makes such a perfect run there, just to the left of the centre back, gets in behind, cushions it down on his chest, does everything, all the hard parts, and just completely wiped out there in that instance. I don't think there was any complaints from the Pather players there.
Jack, we'll get your thoughts on that in a second, but it's Kyle Allison who's going to be standing over this to put Steins back in front. Allison scores! Steins Thistle 2-1.
That was a lovely penalty, picked his spot, passed into the net, exactly what you're looking for. Unfortunately, no knee slide this time over the other side of the park.
18 minutes on the clock, already had 3 goals. What a start to this Scottish Amateur Cup final. Kyle Allison, a midfield enforcer, a man of so much pace and power and energy, is able to slow himself down and calm himself as he strokes it into the bottom corner, and that's just the lift that Steins needed after being pegged back.
Was just about to praise Fleming as well for his strong play, but not his finest moment there. That was more of a rugby tackle than a football tackle. I think he just lost his footing at the end there.
So penalty for you as well, yeah?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I don't think he can have any complaints, and I don't think he gave the referee any, which from a central defender is quite surprising to see. Usually they've always got something to say.
Here's Wallace, lovely trickery from Michael Wallace. When he is dispossessed, as FC Pather will try and come forward again, looking for the run of Kyle Imrie down the left hand side. Imrie tries to go through the legs of Manson.
I think you are seeing that it's a bigger park than they're used to. The players are quite spread out, especially with the strikers becoming quite isolated up the top.
And I think, as you mentioned earlier, Jack, that could be certainly something we'll see, particularly in the second period of this one. Players could tire. It's a hot day out there as well.
They'll be thankful for the ball boys here. Usually I'd imagine they need to chase the ball off themselves, but that'll be an added boost and a bit of a save for the fitness to date.
It's Elvin to take the goal kick. It's DeLuca challenging with Paris. Paris gets his head on it now. Scott comes forward. FC Pather looking to try and respond quickly once again. Donachie gets into the header by Gibbons, but good work again, and Donachie.
Very tough physical game out there today.
You would expect that in a cup final with so much
I'd file under scenes we love to see.
I know we're only 20 minutes into this one, but I'm gonna ask you both for who you think's impressed you so far. If anyone's just watching the stream just now, if you are, by the way, Steins Thistle will be FC Pather by 2-1, but if anyone's just joining us now, Daniel, anyone that they should be looking out for, any key performance thus far?
I think for me, Stephen Donachie's been brilliant up top. He's led the line well. What you want in a striker is someone who's present, and he is always in and around that penalty area. A couple of lovely touches from him as well. Key moment coming in the first goal. I'd have to praise his teammate Michael Wallace as well. He's been, like you say, what you want in a winger is someone who's going to take the ball, and have an end product. What Michael Wallace has done today is he's got in the right positions and he's put balls into the box. He's had a supply for his teammates, and for me, he's one of the standouts.
Okay, so Stevie Donachie and Michael Wallace to watch. Let me tell you about Stephen Donachie's secret weapon as well. We may see this if the game's close later in the match. He has got a monstrous long throw, and wait till you see it. I mean, I've only ever seen it in amateur matches where perhaps the sidelines are, sorry, the gap between the sideline and the 18-yard box is
Some run up from today though.
But yeah, it's a bigger pitch today, so it'll be interesting to see if that's still the case as the players take on a water break midway through this first period. But yeah, now I'm going to ask yourself, Jack, anyone that's impressed you so far?
Well, I'd have to echo the same thoughts as Daniel. For me, Michael Wallace, he doesn't have that pace anymore, but the accuracy of the crosses so far have been really impressive. I can see a few more goals coming from out that right hand flank. If the headers match the quality of the cross, I could be a good few goals today. Other than that, I was going to give some praise to Gary Fleming of Payford, but he kind of took that away from me. With the
I know he started so well, didn't he?
He started so well, he's been very physical, very strong, but I don't know, I think the penalty, maybe a rush of blood, maybe a slip, but hopefully he can recover and get back to the form he was shown at the start of the game.
It's a very interesting mention you've got there, your wee bit of info there on Donachie, Adam. I can't say I've ever really seen a striker take a throw in my life, so I want to know more.
Well, Stevie Donachie, you'll notice, is a left-footed player, so naturally in his younger days was quite often used as a left midfielder and occasionally as a left back, so I think that's where the long throw practice comes from. I'm not quite sure how he was able to harness those skills, but honestly it is a monster. The secret weapon is a monster, so just wait for it in the second half. It's a little bit tight. Number 9, the striker, will come out and take some long throws, I'll tell you that.
If only he could be in two places at once, latching onto his own throw-ins.
Colin Brannan to launch the ball down the line as Paris gets his head on it. I think Paris and DeLuca involved in an altercation. Referee Ian Wilson not too happy with what he's seen as he'll stop play. Once we've got a little bit of a break in play here, lads, I asked you for your favourite Hampden moments. I'm now going to ask you for your favourite amateur football moments. I'm sure we've all played the game at some level, some more disgracefully than others. Anything you'd like to say in your amateur football career, Daniel? Any highlights?
Yeah, I think we're going to be filing my amateur football career in that more disgracefully section. It's not been a fantastic time of it in my days playing for Stornoway United in the Lewis and Harris Football League. A shout out for them. But I think for any amateur player,
I'm gonna stop you here because look what we've got. It's the Stephen Donachie long throw.
This is far more important. It can wait.
Is he going to clear the front of the 6? That's the main thing. As Donachie launches it into the box.
To be fair,
headed away, but it's going to come back out to FC Paythorne now with a chance to break. Jason Thompson with the ball. Thompson striving forward. He's got a man over there on his left. If he can find him, goes for the effort. And I think didn't quite get the connection on that one. Captain Hook, as they say.
I would say in that situation, really, he's almost caught in two minds. Taking it on his right foot there, you're wanting to shoot that on your left. If he's going to play the ball through, you're expecting to take it in his stride, but probably wanting to shoot across goal with that left peg there. But a good break anyway. It's an opportunity for them to get back in the game, and we have been able to witness the famous Stephen Donachie throw-in, which
I did
is
tell
a
you about
highlight.
it, so. Ball's set forward for Donachie, looking for that flick on of McCafferty.
More than anything, I was probably astounded by the run-up for that one. About 40 metres.
He's thrown a javelin. So Daniel, we were speaking about your time at Stornoway United. Not too many highlights. Many lowlights.
Many lowlights, but I would say plenty of tankings, as anyone who follows the league will attest. But I think for any player at any level, whether you're amateur or you're going to win the Ballon d'Or, there's no moment like scoring your first goal for a team, and I still remember mine, a long free kick, looping over to the back post. Young Daniel McLeod breaks in behind, takes it on the volley, top right corner, wheels away, wheels away in celebration to make the score 6-1 to the other team. No knee slide on that occasion at Thistle Park. But
and that is why we're in the commentary box and not on the pitch, as they say. Jack, any highlights from your?
Didn't have much of an amateur career. I played a lot of football as a youngster. Highlight would probably be I played for Broomhill. We played our game against Hamilton Accies at under 13s, and I went to cross the ball from 40 yards out and seen it swoop in and took full credit for it.
You meant it, didn't you? Of course you meant it, yeah.
As far as the Accies players were aware, I did mean it. Low light would probably be we played down at Beef Juniors ground. It's on a slope. I was playing up front that day. Ball came through to me and I thought I was in, but as the slope went down, so did the ball, and it just slightly drifted away from me, and eyes in the stars, headlines already made, but it wasn't to be. But the guys out here are a lot more successful than me and Daniel, and they'll put on a show for us today that we wouldn't be able to.
Yep, and me too. 22 fine amateur footballers, really at the top level of the amateur game as Manson heads forward. A lot of guys here that have played in professional and junior setups over the years, but what I love about this is local guys playing and representing their community. It's really more than just football.
A lot of people can look down on the amateur game, but if you've ever played against somebody's top...
Oh, it's a mistake from Elvin. Peter are in here. An opportunity to make it 2-0. Just has to square it. I can't believe it. Kyle Emery. He had Jason Thompson 5 yards square to him. All he has to do is pass the ball. And Emery...
I don't think he's going to have nice words at half-time from his manager.
Oh, I mean, I like, especially in these games, to try and talk everyone up and be really nice, but Daniel, what is Kyle Emery doing?
I don't even know where to begin with any of that. There's so much to unpack there. Emery, he's in the perfect position. He's done the hard bit. He's put the pressing in. He's gotten past the goalkeeper. The goal is gaping wide open, and he seems to just almost freeze in that moment. He just wants to be so safe and so sure, and he ends up hitting the only target that isn't going to put his side level in this game. But I think something's pointed out as well, Elvin, there was a moment maybe 5 or so minutes into the game, edge of box, perhaps a little indecision, maybe just needing to be a bit more aggressive, more assertive in getting rid of the ball. It could be a weakness.
He was just waiting for it to come into the box so he could pick it, wasn't he? But I think with the ball maybe not travelling,
you can't be taking chances
he's got to
in
just
these
clear
games.
out. Yeah.
You can't be at all. A little bit too pedestrian for me. I don't think anyone covered themselves in glory there except the defender who put in that world-class block.
Knock it back out for Wallace. Wallace with another hung cross to the back post. DeLuca gets his head on it, but comfortably saved. As Peter will try and come forward, but that's well read by Scott Watson. I tell you what, it's been a couple of minutes now since that mistake, but God, Jason Thompson is still standing with his hand on his hips, shaking his head at his strike partner. Jack, if you were in Thompson's position, would you be as equally as raging?
Of course, he's standing there screaming for it. I feel he hesitates for a moment. You saw the split second where he sees the defender and just hesitates. I mean, you've just got to hit that straight away. Place into the goal, don't give the defender a moment, and if you do hesitate, you've got to play it across for the tap-in. But in the end, he's done neither, not put it in the goal, not set up his teammate. I wouldn't like to be him at half-time.
Yeah, Peter still going in search of their second equaliser of the match. It really should have come in that moment, but they might have an opportunity to come again. Here is Kyle Emery, picks it up, opts to square it this time, loses his footing. Now Jason Thompson knocks it across. It's going to be eventually cleared by
You've also got to wonder how Thompson is going to feel, obviously, with his game going forward. Is that going to put him off, or is he going to be able to pick himself back up and go again? I know myself, if you do miss a big chance,
I would just crumble, to be honest. I would just crumble. And
it gets in your head, even playing 5 aside. You miss one big chance, your teammates are on you. The rest of the game, you can go a bit into your shell. You just need to make sure that doesn't happen on such a big stage.
Well, it's these big moments that decide big games, isn't it, Adam? And that wasn't just one big moment, it was two.
It's two massive errors from either side. Steins come out unscathed. Really, when that full-time whistle goes, and there's going to be one team on the podium celebrating with this famous trophy. Maybe moments like that that you see in your sleep tonight, haunting you as the visions of your opposition seep into the mind, lifting that trophy.
There is no worse thought, but that's the beauty and horror of football and the beauty and horror of cup finals. It's why we love it and it's why we hate it. Some of these players
I'm not hating this is some game.
Well, we're loving it, but we're not playing.
Some game for the neutral. Not sure how the Pather fans out will be feeling after this one, but yeah, 32 minutes played, 3 goals, big opportunity. We've had a penalty, we've had just about everything, and now we're going to have another Stephen Dunnicky long throw. He's not too happy with the ball. He's got the LeBron sleeve on as well, hasn't he?
Not really sure what could possibly have been wrong with the ball there. He held it for about a second and a half.
He's Dunnicky a little bit longer this time, but
just went for
too close
goal
to the
with that
goalkeeper.
one.
Good take by Matthew Craig. Gibbons is back inside for Ali Brown. Possession given away. Ali Brown will know quite a few of these Steins players.
Brown looking a little frustrated there with that first pass. I think he's wanting more players to show
look
for
at
him
this
in
for
the
a
midfield.
run. We'll come back to you in a moment. Taylor Scott with a fantastic run. He's going to get it again. Taylor Scott! Ball just gets caught underneath his feet. But Daniel McLeod, what a run there from Taylor Scott.
The run is fantastic, but for me the layoff is just even better. That just perfect weight just over the defender to set it in his path. Great opening there for Steins and Pather even. That's
Dylan Falconer with
bit of a moment to forget there actually.
that first time pass through. Great little touch from Falconer now. Emery is dispossessed by Wallace.
Momentum shifting slightly here maybe.
Yeah, just as I was mentioning, Ali Brown and a lot of these Steins boys well, I think he was part of the fill-in team that lost this final at this venue a few years ago. There are a number of guys on both sides that were involved in that match. Also represents the Scottish Amateur Select squad. Has done for quite some time, so one to keep an eye on in the midfield for Pather. Gibbons got to go over the top for Emery, but there's just too much on that, and Steins will accept a throw in on the far side as we approach the 35th minute of this one. 10 minutes to play in the first half.
Pace has definitely slowed down after such a frantic start.
I think we needed that here in the commentary box, to be honest.
Just try to keep up, one goal after another at the start. But Taylor Scott, of course, just showed some great play down there. You guys were talking about it. You love to see that, running at defenders, running through the middle. It's nothing better than someone driving right through the heart of a team. Unfortunately, just not got the space to get the finish in, but great stuff. You love to see play like that.
Yeah, you can see him just motoring as he got that.
The opposite numbers going on a run here.
There's DeLuca, wild challenge from Gibbons. Referee plays on us. DeLuca is
still in the area.
going to poke it into the box. Dunnicky goes with Craig, and is adjudged to have fouled the goalkeeper in the process, and FC Pather with a bit of a let off of a free kick.
You see that a lot in the modern game. You can't really challenge a goalkeeper like you used to.
You're not
anymore.
liking that, no?
No. You should be able to challenge the goalkeeper. I mean, if that was going up for a header with an R player, don't think a foul would be given, but that's just the way things are in the modern game. The keepers seem to be a lot more protected than the rest of the players. Of course, no VAR today. Referee's on his own. I'm sure
Happy there's no VAR.
I mean, I'm sure the players are. I'm very, very. Oh, here we go again.
It's Taylor Scott, another driving run.
That almost became a pass there at the end.
Taylor Scott looks like some player, but if I were him, I'd be keeping it off that left foot when shooting.
Yeah, it's a right back's left-footed effort, isn't it? Would say before, Haddon had an excellent run through the middle. It just seems to be something these Pather players seem to do, just drive at the heart of the team. Love to see it.
Touch from Allison lets him down as Brown comes away with it. Now, strong challenge from Scott Watson. Something to bear in mind as well at this time of the season, these teams will be playing so many games. This is the time of year where you're playing 3, sometimes 4 games in the space of 7 or 8 days, just simply because of fixture congestion caused by the number of postponements you still get in the amateur game over the winter months. We're not going to get into the topic of summer football. It's something I have strong feelings about, but we'll keep those to myself for now. But yeah, these teams will be playing midweek constantly, sometimes twice. Midweek games at the weekend. I mentioned 3-4 games in the space of 7-8 days. It's a lot on the legs.
Well, you mentioned the number of games, but these players are working as well, so you can only really imagine the mental toll and everything it's taking too. So to put on a show like they have so far, full credit to them.
You mentioned they're working, but I think there'll be a few sickies tomorrow, depending on which way this goes.
I wouldn't want to stitch up the players too much like that, Adam, but you know them better than I do.
The question is, do you ask for a day off in advance, hoping for a win, or do you?
I think most of the boys
it?
would. I think both teams will already have nights out and functions planned already, just in the event that they should win. If they don't, I think getting to the final is something that should be celebrated too. So
of course, they'll be gutting to lose at a final. Be 2 very different days off, I imagine.
Yes.
And dare I say it, 2 very different types of hangover.
Please drink responsibly, of course.
Of
Good
course.
run from Thompson. Gianluca Delica doing well.
He doesn't seem to have let the miss put him down. He's still determined, still going for it. I like to see that. We were worried about what effect it would have on him, but he seems to have picked himself back up really well.
Yeah, Thompson, of course, was angry with Imrie for quite some time. Kyle Imrie.
My apologies. I get my strikers confused there.
I was about to try and do it in a way that it wouldn't make it obvious that you got the players the wrong way around. There's a bit of a tangle here.
There's some wrestling in the park here.
Some hands on Paris.
John Cena's in town.
Paris has been shown an early yellow card. You need a bit of that though, don't you, Jack? That's it. You seem to enjoy that side of the game.
Another one would file under scenes we hate to see, but scenes we really love to see deep down. Gets the crowd going, gets your teammates amped up. Ideally, you wouldn't want to go in the book. I mean, I'd imagine it would take quite a lot to get a booking in the amateur game in comparison to the professional, but I don't think you can get away with wrestling your opponent to the ground. I mean, WrestleMania was last month, lads.
DeLuca knocks it on, looking for the run of McCafferty, but it's going to roll behind for a goal kick. Here's Gibbons again as Pather opting for the slow, patient build-up. Seem to have had more possession, would you agree, Daniel?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I think in the early stages, obviously Steins had these big attacks, but they seem to be a more direct team, I would definitely say. Steins, Pather, interesting how they sort of seem to set up. I think at times maybe wanting midfielders to drop in just that bit more if they're going to be playing out the back. The left back always seems to be pushing really high, so that's an interesting one. Maybe that could be an outlet at some point, but it's all about making the possession count. And so far Steins have done that slightly better.
Good challenge from McPherson as Michael Wallace looked for the channel ball for Donachie. It's not to be though, as Gary Fleming picks up possession and knocks it wide for Taylor Scott, who goes wide again for Ali Brown. Ali Brown can just try and turn former teammate Andrew McGowan there. The ball from McGowan.
That is a fantastic
great touch from Allison. Allison, the goal scorer of the second goal, of course, just gets a little nudge there as Allison looks to try and find Wallace, but good defending from Taylor Scott, the right back, who I have to say he's started really brightly, the Pather full-back. I think he's certainly been one of the standout performers for the trailing side. Would you agree, Daniel?
Absolutely, very energetic presence on that right side of the defence. It's exactly what you want in the modern fullback, someone who's going to drive up the pitch, make things happen. Still not sure about that left-footed effort earlier in the game, but besides that, it's been absolutely brilliant.
Here's Wallace back inside for McCafferty. What can Dylan McCafferty produce? He goes from distance.
Worth a go, absolutely, from that range. Not gone how he'd have liked it.
I have seen him score from there, and plenty of them. But that one just miscued and shanked well clear. As the chant goes, girls don't like boys, girls like Dylan McCafferty, but I think girls certainly don't like 40-yard shots going 40 yards over the bar.
Depends on the girl, I suppose, but it's not a fantastic effort that he's going to be watching later.
No, not at all. Bit of trouble here for David Paris again. Seems to be struggling and looks as though there's a sub in the offing. In fact, is it Paris that's down? I can't quite see from here. I need to get the specs on. I believe it is. It's not Paris. Sorry, Paris was down earlier. Is it Emery? Is Kyle Emery down?
It'll be a sad end to his game if so. Substitute is ready on the side. Aaron Bullock. Captain going over to check on him. This is a real scene we don't like to see, having to go off in such a big game with an injury.
I think it is Kyle Emery. Looks absolutely distraught. He's being withdrawn here through injury. It will be Aaron Bullock who'll replace him.
No, that's horrible to see. Genuinely,
tough moment.
He
looks devastated.
No, that's really nasty. I mean, obviously a big opportunity to play here. It's getting a good applause. It's a really touching moment, but obviously the miss earlier in the game. But he really does just look beside himself. It's awful. You can put yourself in his shoes there.
Yeah, lovely to see the
coach going over to console him, but
the applause.
He looks absolutely distraught. It's really nasty. Obviously, a great moment for Aaron Bullock now to go on and try change this game, make the most of his opportunity. But full sympathies with Emery there. Yeah,
gutted for Emery. You could see, obviously we spoke about that miss earlier, but you could clearly see that he's a top player. There's a strong challenge from Thompson. He's not going to be punished for it. There wasn't an offside in there, but it's a wild one from Thompson, who is actually going to be punished, shown a yellow card. And I think earlier in the game we mentioned there was a little bit of hesitation from Elvin, and now I can see why. If that's it. I'm not going to blame him, because if that was me, I'd be jumping out of the way every single time.
You're not wrong. I will send Thomas Elvin my apologies at this very moment. I'd be exactly the same. I'd be probably in the back of that stand there if that's the challenges that were going in on me.
Elvin smashes the free kick long. Donachie knocks on for Allison. Good play again from Fleming to come away with it, but McPherson picks up, pokes it through. Lovely ball from McPherson. Here's Stevie Donachie, looks to go on the inside of Gibbons. Good defending again from Gibbons. I've really liked him as well, James Gibbons. I think he's had a good start there.
Left centre back, he looks pretty solid. That's what you want. A couple of strong challenges in at times, but I think they've really shored up the defence later on in the game. I think, Jack, you were mentioning, obviously in the earlier part, Fleming, he'd been a really strong contender, had that obviously difficult moment with the penalty, but I think as the half score on, Pather has defended really well. Yeah, and the ref blows the half-time whistle to bring an end to a frantic first 45 minutes in Glasgow's south side.
It got off to some start. Stevie Donachie opening the scoring for Steins Thistle after just 3 minutes. And then pegged back 1-1 with a brilliant free kick from Lee Dixon. FC Pather tying the game at 1-1. But we weren't level for long in the 18th minute. Kyle Allison stepped up to convert a penalty won by Donachie, given away by Fleming. After that, massive opportunity, a glorious opportunity for FC Pather to get themselves level once again. It fell to Kyle Emery. All he had to do was square it to Jason Thompson. Opted to shoot. That was blocked. And Steins survived. So that's where we are heading into half-time. Big second half ahead for both sides. Don't go anywhere. We'll be bringing you some further half-time analysis very, very shortly. But at half-time, it is FC Pather 1, Steins Thistle 2. Final, Steins Thistle leading FC Payfer by 2-1. Just the one change to tell you about at half time. David Paris, the FC Payfer captain, who's been struggling with an injury in that first half, is unable to continue. He's been replaced at half time by Brian Ross.
Chance to make a name for himself in the final. A lot of meaty challenges.
McPherson's challenges hurdled. Now a chance for Thompson to give chase down this left-hand side, but
Goalkeeper a bit more hesitant to come right out for the ball there after that challenge at the end of the first half.
Andrew McGowan looking to punch one long for Donachie. Donachie gets the break of the ball here. Stephen Donachie, can he be a hero once again? Just drags his shot wide of the target. The man who scored the first, created the second, almost adding a third.
Michael Wallace screaming for it there as well.
What do you think, Jack? Better option to his right hand side, or is he within his right to take a shot?
He is within his right, but I think if he'd taken a second, lifted his head, he'd have seen Michael Wallace obviously out there on the right after a great first half. Was probably in a better position, but you can't really fault him for taking the shot, especially on such a stage.
Here's Michael Wallace once again. Wallace with
Lovely
a
feet.
bit of trickery to get away from his man, and then goes down under the challenge, looking for the free kick. It's not forthcoming.
I made the point in the first half, Michael Wallace doesn't have the legs anymore to really get up and down the wing, but you can see his close control, his skill, still all there from his time in the semi-professional and professional ranks.
Certainly an impressive player still to this day. Steins Thistle looking to add to the East of Scotland Cup triumph already, top of the league.
Unbeaten if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, very successful season once again for the Allendale sides, and an equally as impressive season for FC Payfer. This is actually their first year as a Saturday amateur side, having played Sunday amateur.
Cup winners a few years ago, I'm sure. I think
Sunday
2022 Sunday Cup winners.
Yes. Now looking to try and do the business on Saturdays.
If you can't tell, I used half time to up myself on my research on my notes.
Here's Wallace. Look for that run of Donachie. Donachie's onside. He might
Fleming
get to this,
across.
by the way, but a good interception from Fleming, who was considerably deeper than the rest of the line. But now we will have our first corner of the match. I was reliably informed by our statsman Mac Kelly downstairs, and he said there were no corners in the first half, so this will be a first chance.
I have noticed Fleming has been sitting deeper to deal with Donaghy. I noticed that end of the first half, kind of making up for his own lack of pace, but it's working well.
McCafferty with an enticing delivery, punched clear by Matthew Craig. Gianluca De Luca is under a bit of pressure here from Scott, but De Luca comes away with it. And they will have a second corner of the match, 2 in as many minutes.
Claiming for a throw in there, but don't think there was any chance that was not going to go for a corner.
With Michael Wallace, man of many tracksuits, man of many nicknames, also known as Benson or as Bean Jr. to those from the Bonnybridge area.
Any background behind that?
Couldn't possibly say. As Michael Wallace sent it to the front post, headed clear by Scott. He's going to come back out for Scott Watson. Lovely little punched pass looking for the run of Dylan McCafferty. What can McCafferty do now? He goes for the elastico.
Penning them in here.
Here's Allison. Bright start to the second period by Steins Thistle. Strong play from Allison. Allison looking to get the ball across to the front post, and it's a big chance. Just wide of the target.
Payfer not happy with the referee.
Dino Manson in nosebleed territory, centre half in that front post. Does score a lot of goals for a centre back, actually, to be
We've seen
fair to Manson.
a similar chance in the Champions League semi-finals get taken, but not on this occasion.
Strong driving run, but Steins are going to retake possession with De Luca.
They're just penning them in here.
De Luca knocks it forward, looking for the run of Donachie. Good work from Lee Dixon as Lee Dixon draws the foul, lets out a cry, and Pather will gladly accept a free
He
kick.
heard the scream from all the way up here in the gantry. Not a nice tackle, that. Only a talking to with the referee. Daniel is still here with us. He'll be back momentarily. Don't worry for
He's taking on a role of producer for the time being.
all you groupies out there waiting for him to return. He is coming back.
Do you miss him, Jack?
I do. I miss his dulcet tones.
Here's Harden on the inside. There's a run of Dixon if Pather can pick him out, but it's well intercepted by
I
Lewis
was really
McPherson.
impressed by the quality of the slide challenges from both teams. A lot of time you associate them with fouls, but a lot of well-timed tackles on the ground today.
Yeah, two very good football teams here. It's a strong challenge from Brannan, but good, really strong play there from Dylan Falconer. Couldn't find the telling pass in the end, but it's been a bright start to this second period as Falconer, as Wallace has picked out DeLuca with a lovely chip ball down this right hand side. What can DeLuca produce on this right hand side? He's dispossessed by Dixon.
He's different from Wallace. He's the wide man with more pace. Also got a trick or two about him, but not on that occasion. Two very different wide players though. You've got one more sort of wide midfielder and then one winger really on the other side.
What do you think the message would have been at half time, Jack, from either coach?
I feel Pather came back into it at the end of the first half there. Their coach will just want them to keep doing what they were doing, and I think Steins will be looking to recapture the form they started the game with. They fell away a bit after the second goal, but I mean it's still anyone's game here. I mean you wouldn't bet against Pather getting another goal or even two to turn it round, but then again you wouldn't bet against the leaders extending to their lead.
Chance for the ball to be sent in. Thompson's delivery just has a little bit too much on it. It's going to
Goalkeepers, of course, will be used to the Astro Parks, might not be used to the sort of bounce on the ball they might get here today on the grass. Slightly different. I suppose it's probably better for the goalkeeper, but just a bit of a change. Might
some
throw them off.
surface. Makes me jealous. Desperate for the game as Donachie comes forward as in an offside position. I'm delighted to say we are rejoined now by co-commentator Daniel McLeod, who was on production duties for the first 8 minutes of this second period. Daniel, what have you made of the start to this second half by both sides?
Yeah, I think it's been an interesting start. I think Pather probably been the team that's maybe taken a bit more time to settle into this one. In some ways, trying to get up the pitch there, shooting to that other side. But I think very interesting that we had our first two corners of the game anyway.
Now Allison can come forward looking for the run on this left-hand side of McCafferty.
Oh,
There's been a
collision
in the box.
Allison.
Here's Donachie. Oh, Donachie! Chest and volley, and Donachie scores his second. Steins Thistle racing towards a first ever Scottish Amateur Cup. What a delivery from Dylan McCafferty, and there was Donachie just to smash it in for 3-1, Daniel.
Well, it's just a great striker's finish. It's reactionary. The ball just drops in the box. Instant left foot, bang, back of the net. Exactly what you'd expect from a player of his quality. We've mentioned before in the game, he's been active, he's been in the right positions, and he's shown that killer instinct there. What a huge moment for his team. It's amazing to see the celebrations in the dugout there. The coaches are jumping all over each other, hugging each other. A great roar from the supporters. And what a moment for Donachie. What a moment for Steins. They deserve it.
Yeah, Jack, well, we mentioned that Steins had started the brighter of the two sides in this second period. They've got their just rewards for that 3-1. How do Pather get themselves back into it now?
Just need to throw men forward here, or they might get a break.
There's a chance. Here's Thompson. Good run from Thompson. Is taken out by Manson on the edge of the area. Referee plays on. I think there was about 3 or 4 fouls in there. We're hearing the first boos from the
game was getting tasty there. I don't know if you noticed at the goal, Kyle Allison was taken out on the edge of the box before the goal went in, and another one would file under scenes we love to see but were meant to hate was Kyle Allison giving it back at the goal, but obviously the tensions are still going. You can see a few pushes out there in the park. Could be a few more bookings in the final 35 minutes or so left of this contest.
I think that's what the protests are from the technical area of FC Paythor. A few of the coaching staff not too pleased at his decision not to cards. Could have been any one of Manson, Allison or Brannan there.
Well, that's the thing. Steins need to make sure they don't lose the head here. The last thing they want to do is go a man down after such a bright start to the second half.
Looks as though there's a change being readied. Liam McGuigan could be coming on for FC Paythor, but we'll wait for this free kick first. Now, Lee Dixon has already scored one free kick. We mentioned Lee Griffiths earlier. Over to you, Lee Dixon. Dixon goes low this time. Just misses the target.
It's not a bad effort. Tries to go around the wall, tries to go low. It's probably not what the keeper was expecting. Doesn't go quite as well as the first one did. That substitution is going to take place now. Paythor trying to fight their way back into this one. Like we said, it had been a slower start, but showed a good bit of intent there after the third goal.
Changing in the offing here will be Liam McGuigan. Will come on for FC Paythor as they roll the dice for a third time in this one, trying to inspire a comeback. Looks as though the Steins are going to make a change as well. Finlay Miller has his
substitution for
James Gibbons who's gone off there.
Gibbons off for McGuigan. Looks as though it's a like for like swap. Surprised at that. I thought Gibbons was having a pretty good game.
Yeah, he was actually one we'd name checked earlier for having a strong performance. Just done well there in the defensive areas. Interesting change, like you say. I'm not really sure. Well, not going to question the thinking behind it, but wonder what they're hoping the effect will be from that one to try, obviously, pull back 2 goals here.
Well, it's a tall order, but there's plenty of time. 33 minutes still to play, plus any potential stoppages.
Plenty of time. There's been plenty of attacks and plenty of action so far. I wouldn't completely write this one off, but obviously Steins been the team who you would have to say have one hand on the trophy right now.
Jack, what do you think's going through the players' heads just now? It's an interesting scoreline, 3-1. I mean, I know that Paythor boys would just be concentrated on trying to get themselves back into it, but do the Steins players subconsciously start to think of dropping deeper and defending their advantage? How should they approach it, and how will they approach it?
I think they should keep going for it. They have been on top, and obviously with the momentum in the league, unbeaten. I believe their only drop points when it's a draw against their opponents today. I think they should keep going for it. There's more goals there to get if they go for it. But at 3-1, the next goal's always vital. If it goes to 4-1, I mean that should be it. But 3-2 to anyone's game, it's a very dangerous scoreline, but also it could be a very comfortable scoreline. Just depends on which way the next goal goes.
I think we should now see the Steins change. No, play on for Paythor as Ali Brown swinging it out to the right hand side for Fleming.
I think it's very important that Paythor don't lose faith. They keep at it, because if you allow your head to go down, you're already beaten.
Good work from McCafferty. Lovely interchange with Dunnicky as McCafferty will look to try and go for the reverse pass for Dunnicky, but just puts a little bit too much on it.
Poor Finlay Miller will be absolutely itching to get on. He's been trying to keep himself warm on the sides there for what seems like an eternity, tightening the laces. It's every thought going through your head right now. Are the socks high enough up?
Here's Watson. Watson is dispossessed, and now a chance for Paythor to come forward. A good ball in behind for Thompson. McPherson gets onto it and plays it to Manson, who clears. Well defended. The combination of McPherson and Manson.
Miller's going to get his chance now.
Not quite. We're freezing me now.
I'm starting to lose hope that this boy's ever going to take to the pitch here at Hampden Park. The fourth official's got it out for him.
McGuigan just looking for a little bit of movement. Just goes for the longer pass, but that's won by Manson. work from Donachie again as Steins will just look to try and get their foot on the ball and slow things down. Not sure Stevie Donachie was too happy with the decision not to play him in behind quickly there, but
not just Donachie, but for me, one that would be picked out there is Wallace on the right wing. There's a big opportunity to go and fly down that right flank, make an option for Allison, go for the diag, just kind of stay.
Strong tackle, great challenge from DeLuca. Knocks it for Michael Wallace, and then
strong.
Good tackle by McGuigan.
Very, very, very tasty out there. I think two teams in the same league, both near the top of the league, don't particularly like each other by the looks of things, but you're wanting a bit of bite, a bit of needle in a cup final.
And I think Finlay Miller will eventually get his opportunities.
Having to warm himself back up there.
He's had to wait long enough.
Get the circulation going again. You can see the stadium announcer wondering what's going on as well down below us.
Are we going to get this change? Not too sure.
I mean, you never change at a corner, but one of these long throws, probably the same sort of destination as a corner. Don't think the players even know what's going on, nor the referee.
How amateur, boys, eh?
Absolutely shocking.
Wonder if we'll see similar scenes at the Scottish Cup final. Will Adam Ida be made to wait on the sidelines?
Substitution for Steins Thistle after 64 minutes. Coming off is number 6, Scott Watson. He's replaced by number 16, Finlay Miller.
So Scott Watson will make way for Finlay Miller, like for like change. And
I'm excited to see another one of these long throws.
As Miller will just marshal the central area of the pitch alongside Kyle Allison. But here's Donachie over another long throw. Stephen Donachie with a long and flat one there. Still an opportunity, not cleared. It's going to fall for Manson, and now for Wallace. Manson again.
How is that not?
It's still not
still
clear.
Live.
Ball's still live. There's a man down. I think DeLuca's down, but
no VAR
just
in
looking
operation today
to get it clear. Bit of a scramble in the box.
Still chaotic in
Steins
there.
have it. Lovely nutmeg from Wallace. Wallace back post, and here's Dean Manson.
How on earth has that not ended in goal number 4 for Steins? I thought earlier there could have been a penalty in there for sure. It looked like a push. Player went down, but it's an absolute scramble cutting about there. Just shots going off. Absolute chaos. No one really seeming to get a clear hit on it, and what an opportunity that was to firmly put the final nail in the coffin.
Oh, I thought that was a moment for the big centre back. It comes back to him on the half volley. And as I mentioned, Dean Manson scores a lot of goals for a defender. It's not a case of saying, oh, it's not the player who you'd want it to fall to, because he has got a true strike on him. He's a good player, but on that occasion, not to be his moment as it flies well over the top of the crossbar.
Well, to give credit to Manson, he's got in the right position there, and actually coming back to that point we've banged on so many times, Donachie with a throw-in, long and flat, but it's exactly what you want from a long throw-in, just to create some kind of havoc in there.
Good
That's
front
exactly
post header
what
from
the point
Allison
is.
as well. That's what keeps it
100%.
alive. Good play this from Peter. Here's Jason Thompson looking for that run of Lee Dixon. Good defensive work from Wallace. It's not going to go out though, as Wallace will look to just clip it up the line. Dixon plays it on the inside. Nice run this from Falconer. Falconer out to this left-hand side for Harden. Harden's done well to get the better of McPherson. Harden puts it in. McGowan puts it high into the Glasgow sky.
Really nice play there from Harden, just trying to take his man on, just try to create something from nothing. He's looking lively.
Peter have been a little better the last few minutes. Now lovely work. Can they work an opportunity here? It's played back across and headed clear by McGowan. I have to say, Brian Ross has looked good since coming on at half time. He's taken over the armband from David Paris. Certainly looked a comfortable player in midfield. As Liam McGuigan asks for an option. Picks out Thompson. Thompson is tracked all the way back by Manson.
Right, he's had to come very deep there, Thompson, from his natural forward position. Just Pather trying to get anything that can really create some sort of move. You do feel with this sort of length left in the game, if they were to get a goal, it is fully on, and they are piling bodies forward. It's exactly what you'd want them to do in this sort of situation.
There's goals left in this, boys, isn't there?
I certainly hope so, just for the pure entertainment value of it, but I really do feel so. Both teams have gone for it all game, and we've seen the attacking quality of both sides. I'd be surprised if this was to end 3-1.
Falconer for...
You can see Thistle, though, they are starting to go deeper, like you suggested earlier. Oh, it's another big tackle there.
Bad one from Wallace. I think he'll go into the referee's notebook for that challenge as well. Michael Wallace with the...
How many bookings are we on now? It's a good few.
I believe we'll need to ask Matt Kelly, the stats man, to
pass that information up to us
yeah, through the WhatsApp chat.
Good chance to get a ball in into that corridor of uncertainty.
It'll be Jason Thompson that will eye up the delivery. Finlay Miller and Michael Wallace in the wall.
Does he go for the looping cross, or does he try and get it near post? What's the better play here? Try and trick the goalkeeper.
Well, let's find out. Here's Thompson for Pather. And the delivery is just too much on it. Nice angle, too heavy. And that suits Steins Thistle as we approach the midway point of this second half. We've now been informed by statsman Matt Kelly downstairs. There have been 4 yellow cards, 3 shown to Steins players and 1 shown to FC Pather. There's McCafferty. Lovely work from McCafferty to get beyond Scott, but Scott's done well to win it on the second instance.
That's good work from Brannan, just pushing up from that left back position. Does look like Daryl Chisholm's getting himself ready.
Daryl Chisholm, Steins number 14, just readying himself in front of us. Here's McGuigan. What can FC Pather serve up in this final quarter of the match, if you like? Still trailing by a couple of goals. Lovely ball inside for Jason Thompson. Might open up for Thompson here.
The boot came off, yeah, that's what...
It's not Thompson's boot, it's actually Andrew McGowan's boot.
It's not an ideal position to carry on in.
Here's Ali Brown, swings it into the box. It's headed clear by Manson and then smashed clear by McCafferty. Stevie Dunnicky all alone.
It's a difficult one to hold up. He's not happy. He wants a bit of support there.
Andrew McGowan still doesn't have his boot on, by the way. He's
just holding it.
He's asking for the referee to stop the game so that he can put his boot back on.
Surely to goodness you're just slipping it on and getting on with it there. You don't want anyone to land on you there.
It's not within the rules is that you have to stop the game, but here's Brown, knocks it for an opportunity again that time for Dylan Falconer, but Falconer just can't wriggle through the defence, and McGowan still has his boot in his hand. Play has not been stopped.
For goodness sake, get that boot on.
You can see him dropping further and further. He doesn't seem to want to get involved in play, playing almost a sweeper role now, boot in hand. Tell you what, if I was a striker, I wouldn't be wanting to get too close to a centre half with a boot in his hand.
Oh, good touch from Dixon, lovely touch from Dixon. Gets it across the front of goal.
Finally has a chance to get the boot on now.
We can hear the Pather roar there.
I think they tried to take the corner a little quicker than usual there. First quick corner of the game, just trying to take advantage of it.
Well, it's always what you want, corner taken quickly. Someone on Pather are going to get on the end of it in the front post. We've seen big moments in bigger games than these.
Is that a little reference to a game somewhat 9 years ago?
Somewhat 9 years ago? Well, we're getting there. We're certainly getting there. No one will ever forget that day.
I certainly will never forget it. For all the wrong reasons.
Daryl Chisholm is the man to come on for number 7 Michael Wallace, who is He's being booed, and there are some unpleasant gestures
very warm
being
reception.
thrown in, being directed towards Michael Wallace. I believe that may have been for the scissor challenge on Lee Dixon just a few moments ago, and perhaps some words said afterwards. But now here's Thompson to deliver for Pather. Well collected
Catch
by Thomas Hill.
We'll waste some time here. Goalkeeper with the ball, as they always do when defending a lead.
First Pather corner there. First corner of the match.
Well, Pather might not have got the delivery right, but Matt Kelly, our statsman, certainly seems to on this occasion.
Dixon does well, but here's Kyle Allison.
So
Here's
much
Gianluca
space
DeLuca.
there.
He's got time to measure up a delivery. Goes for the back post effort. It's going to come all the way back for Donachie, but his touch just lets him down.
Yeah, I think Donachie does well to get across there, but probably actually does the hard part more so.
Here's McCafferty. Gets the break.
Two really good, strong challenges there. Such a desire for the ball, keeps it under control, gets it back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Donachie didn't like it, but good tackle from Brian Ross, I think.
Dixon's available on the left side.
Just evades him. 18.5 minutes to play here at the National Stadium at Hampden Park. Pather still trailing by two goals here. Steins Thistle leading by 3-1.
We're just looking at it, we're getting into the last 20 minutes. What do Pather really need to do at this stage to try grab this game again, try get themselves back in it?
We'll throw that one to you, Jack. What if you're in that Pather dugout just now? What are the instructions you're giving to your team to try and encourage them to get themselves back into it? How do they approach?
Just encourage them to keep the head up, but I'd also be looking to get the ball forward a lot quicker and a lot more direct. You've got to just throw everything at it. I don't know, maybe I can see a substitute getting ready, maybe throw another forward onto the park and just hope something falls. Maybe get Fleming up top if it gets any further on. But you've just got to keep going for it. There's no point sitting feeling sorry for yourself. It'll do you no good. Coaches as well are going to want a victory today.
We're going to have another change here. Declan Valentine is going to make his way onto the field to, I think, replace Stevie Donachie, who's come over here. Perhaps that's just for a quick drink, but it is number 17 for Steins Thistle, Declan Valentine, who is the son of coach Kevin Valentine. And it's still McCafferty who's going to make way for Declan Valentine.
It's always an interesting one, father and son duos in football. There's only so many really you can think of at the top level. I was one once upon a time in under 18 and under 15 football.
How did you find that relationship? Because I'm sure it's one that a lot of guys at boys club and amateur level can.
It's quite an interesting
can
one
relate to, because it's different for every scenario.
It's different for every scenario. I actually think it's obviously good for you because you're getting more coaching than other players in your sport. You're always going to have to deal with the nepotism allegations, and I'm sure Declan Valentine probably fails to escape from them, no matter how good he must be as a footballer.
I tell you what, he's a fantastic player, and I was surprised he wasn't included in the starting 11, so I don't think there can be any allegations of nepotism towards Kevin in this instance for not starting his son in a game of this magnitude, when I know for a fact he is indeed a very good player.
Sometimes it can go the other way. Sometimes
that's true.
You can feel pressure to take players out of the team if it's a relative or someone you're close to, and that could be the occasion here. Interesting to see what sort of impact Declan has. If you're talking him up so much, it'd be great to see him put on a bit of a show for us tonight.
Pather coming forward, but that's
would you say the
intercepted by Chisholm.
The duel of Valentine's is a match made in heaven?
Taxi for Cranmer.
Someone turn his mic off.
Does look like Pather are going to make that suggested change we were just talking about there. Declan Wood getting himself ready. 15 minutes to make an impact on this cup final.
Here's Donachie challenging for the head out. Kyle Allison, lovely turn from Allison. Allison doesn't give it up but can't retain possession. We swivel of the hips there as Jason Thompson gives chase. But well dealt with by Dean Manson.
It's like Lee Haddon just struggling that wee bit there. Bit of cramp maybe.
McGuigan. Intercepted by Manson once more. McGuigan can't outmuscle Allison. Here's DeLuca. Lovely run this from DeLuca. Looks as though he's running out of options. He's just going to try and use his body, but I think DeLuca's in a little bit of pain here. Steins may have to look to their bench once again. Good run again from Lee Dixon. He just gets caught on the ball. Hope both players are okay. That didn't look like a pleasant one. Here's DeLuca. Lovely take again. Stephen Donachie.
Hold up.
Here's Colin Brannan. Moved up from the left back position. Colin Brannan's cross is just headed clear. Dixon looks to be in a bit of pain. That looked like a bit of a nasty one. He just rolled his foot on the ball.
It looks like it could have gone worse, to be honest, with that one. It's awkward. There's a few walking wounded out there right now, to be honest. Obviously, as the game goes on, you're getting tiredness, you're getting cramped. So many players have put so much into it, but that could have been a real nasty one with just a few inches difference. Dixon being such a big part of this game, scoring his side's only goal today, been flying up that left flank from the left back spot. They'll need him if they're to have any hope of a comeback.
Good work, Allison, as Valentine's beaten to it by Falconer. Allison knocks it forward with the knee or the thigh or some part of his upper leg. Here's Finlay Miller. Kyle Allison has found Miller. Calm, composed head. I think that's Andrew McGowan. Oh, stinging
what a
the
strike
backs.
that was. Clean as you like. Absolutely ready to nestle into that right top corner. It's a good save. It's a big save.
You just see his eyes light up, didn't you? As soon as his head's lifted the second the pass has come.
You're playing at Hampden Park. You take that touch. You're not human if you don't shoot there.
There's going to be a change for FC Pather. Lee Haddon is going to make way for Declan Woods.
He seemed to be struggling with a bit of cramp there. He was sitting, stretching himself out just towards that halfway line at some point. I'm not surprised to see him go off. Showing his energy and zip at times today, but now it's on to Wood to try revive his team.
It's going to be Stephen Donachie to take the corner. The double goal scorer plays it towards that front post area and naturally will let it go out for a throw in, because that might be more dangerous than a corner kick when you've got the cannon that he has in his arsenal. Will be Donachie to that front post for Allison.
Wow.
Allison got an important touch, just trying to glance it in.
Well, there's no doubt about his capabilities and that cannon or catapult or whatever you want to call it coming in from that side. Real pace and real power on that one, and can't exaggerate how
Look at this from Aaron Bullock. He plays it forward for Thompson. Jason Thompson tries to go on the inside of Manson, but I think he's a player that's gone under the radar. We haven't spoke about him a great deal, but Dean Manson, I feel like every time I mention his name, is blocking something, intercepting something, tackling something. He's in a big performance today.
These are the big decisive moments. You know, you look at 3 goals and obviously your mind instantly goes to the attacking players. Manson we've actually seen contributing in attacking since as well, but some key interventions at all these times, and it's really these sort of defenders who do go unnoticed. It's winning the aerial duels, getting your foot in, reading it properly. Manson's done that in abundance, and you know, he could be 15 minutes away from one of the greatest moments in his sporting life. You get to this stage and the people in the stands, the people on the pitch, they are going to be thinking about what it feels like to hold that trophy, to take it back to Allendale.
It was Manson, he's miscued his header that time. He's fortunate with the eventual direction. It's a lovely first time pass by Miller. To look at has Donachie across if he can find him. As DeLuca just overruns it a little bit, and
DeLuca looks like he does look like he's struggling a wee bit, just like
put a
starting
lot
to
into
go
this
a wee
game, a
bit.
lot of effort.
Absolutely.
I think you can really see the effect on the park now being so large compared to what the boys are used to. Quite a few pulling up with cramp, quite a few limping on out there. I think it may just be getting the best of them.
Here's Thompson.
Paisley can take advantage of that. If they can get a second win, get forward, there could be a route back into the game here.
He's calls for a penalty kick. I'll let you boys decide. Penalty, no penalty?
I've seen them given.
Penalty or no penalty, Jack?
I'd probably say penalty.
Oh, okay, Daniel?
You know what? I'm a man who loves a bit of entertainment. I want a bit of drama. I want a penalty to be given there. Kick a bit of life into the game. There's 10 minutes to go. No one's complaining at just raising the heart rates a wee bit. To be honest, I did think he cut across him. I wouldn't have been surprised in the slightest if it were given.
Well, I'll provide some objectivity here.
I mean, I'd like to see...
And tell you that it's absolutely not a penalty kick.
I would have to see it back, but it did look as if... Didn't look at any attempt on the ball, just looked like a clear body check to me. But then again, I don't think he was getting to the ball. So, don't know if that comes into play in the referee's thinking, but...
Game's gone if you're given that, in my opinion. There's Allison. Allison just hoisted into the air for Chisholm. Chisholm's beaten to it by McGuigan.
Taken out his...
I think DeLuca has wiped out his own player and injured himself in the process.
Once again, scenes we love to see. We've seen that before, famously down in England. Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer, both players got booked. Check the referee, give anything there.
No, not quite. Steins will have a free kick after DeLuca was felled. Just as we say that, Chris Crawford, is going to be the fourth Steins Thistle change of the match. He's ready to make his way onto the field.
They need fresh legs. Right time to make this change. Just when they're starting to tire. An injection of fresh legs, exactly what they need to hold out.
Yeah, and it will be Gianluca DeLuca that will make way for Chris Crawford. DeLuca has put so much into this one, so much effort, so much energy. An outstanding performance from the winger.
Supporters getting ready for a party here. I can hear them getting louder.
Looks as though maybe a bit of a defensive change. I don't know if that's just because of where the free kick's being taken, but Chris Crawford does look to be playing as a central defender here.
Still
Maybe
five players back for an attacking free kick. Definitely just trying to hold on to the lead here in these closing stages.
McPherson. That's close to the goalkeeper. And it's on, and it's a goal! A free kick's been given. We thought that was the moment for Declan Valentine.
Once again, goalkeeper getting a bit too much protection for me.
Well, the ball was lofted in the direction of the goalkeeper by McPherson. It was Dunnicky and goalkeeper Craig who challenged. It was Valentine to poke home what we thought was surely the goal to win it. But Daniel,
I'm
disallowed?
with Jack on this one 100%. I think Craig's lost control of the ball there. I don't think there's an awful lot in it, to be honest. I don't think it's like someone's come in and absolutely T-boned him out of the way of the ball by any means. I think it's perfectly fair. I think he's made a little mistake. Good intelligent play to get in at the back post. Pather given some sort of lifeline there, in my opinion. You mentioned the game being gone a minute ago. Game's gone for me.
Jack?
Yeah, exactly. I just think if you're an outfield player making the same challenge, going for a header, the way the goalkeeper's going for the ball with his hands, I don't think it's a foul. I feel that is an issue in the modern game. Goalkeepers, you can't challenge them anymore. I mentioned that earlier, of course, but that's just one of my personal gripes with the game these days. Time is running out though. They do need to get the ball up the park here.
Who doesn't love a bit of complaining and some gripes and pet peeves in a cup final like this, Jack?
This is what Scottish football's all about. Some moaning at the football. Can't beat it. Sure, everybody from their first time in grounds will have heard that old guy behind them complaining about something, and I'm excited to be the next generation of that moaning old man.
5 minutes to play here at Hampden Park in this 2025 Scottish Amateur Cup final. Steins Thistle leading by 3 goals to 1. Just had a fourth by Declan Valentine disallowed there. There's 5 minutes for FC Paither to try and salvage this cup final. Here's Dixon. Dixon finds Ross.
Everybody bar Fleming pushing really high up.
It's just 1v1 at the back, isn't it? With
It's
Fleming
been that way for a
Donaghy.
lot of the game. It's been a great battle, I think, between Fleming. Great skill.
Paither really need to try and make something happen here. Falconer turns on it. Falconer, lovely pass in behind. There will be a chance for Scott to deliver, but it comes back off Scott, and that's going to go out for a Steins Thistle goal kick. 4 minutes left to play of regulation time, and it's looking as though this famous trophy is on its way to Allendale.
It's an unfortunate one there for me. I think it's an excellent ball across. Scott maybe just hesitates, just that little bit in there. I just wanted to give some plaudits actually to Aaron Bullock, who's come off the bench for Paither. I think he's been really good since he's come on. I think he's been trying to get forward and showing a bit of energy as much as he could, and just there trying to drive at the box. If they're going to have any hope of getting any kind of grasp of this game again, it is going to come through moments like that. It does seem to be running a little late though.
As Falconer swings it out to his right hand side for the marauding fullback Taylor Scott. Taylor Scott using his pace and power to drive inside the pitch again. The ball will now be handed over to Dixon. To say the right and left fullback have been the two standouts for me in this FC Paither side, would you agree?
Yeah, I think I would. I think both sides, you're just seeing so much energy going forward. You know, it's something we talk about a lot in modern football. You've seen people like Robertson and Alexander-Arnold in the past for Liverpool trying to get high, offer that overload in the wide areas. Dixon obviously contributed with a goal. I think Taylor Scott's been absolutely fantastic bombing up that right flank, to be honest. So, fully agree with you there, Adam.
There's Dylan Falconer looking to get Paither back into this one, but it's a disappointing delivery. You can hear the groans from the FC Paither support, and you've got to make those count if you want to get back into this game.
I think time just maybe running out. That may have been the last big chance to get a goal with still enough time remaining to get an equaliser.
Well, boys, there's 2 minutes left of regulation time. FC Paither still need 2 goals, so if we are to have an exciting end to this one, we wouldn't want to waste it with our chats. We'll get this out of the way now. I'm going to ask you both for your player of the match.
Stephen Donaghy for me. 2 goals. He's led the line really well, and he's gave Fleming a great battle. He's a big centre half, and he's more than matched him. And like I said, 2 goals. And without those 2 goals, they wouldn't be taking home the cup.
Daniel, would you agree? Stephen Donaghy for your player
I
of the
do
match?
fully agree. I don't want to just seem like I'm just agreeing with everything that's being said here and seem like the biggest pacifist in the world, but I think Donaghy's been absolutely amazing. Contributes so early on, gets in the right positions both times for both his goals. It's a great header for the first one. There's been some great hold-up play, to be honest. Sometimes he's been a little isolated up there, but he's managed to keep it. Great reaction for the second, and like you said, Adam, monstrous long throws which have caused so much danger. He seems to be the guy we keep talking about. Full credit to Stephen Donaghy. Obviously some mentions, honourable mentions to Michael Walls and Kyle Allison. I think they've been fantastic too, but Donaghy for me too.
I have to agree, boys. We'll make it a hat-trick for Stephen Donaghy, and there's a minute left in this one for him to get his hat-trick on the field too. I'm sure he'd much rather that than plaudits from ourselves as Steins Thistle win a free kick with 40 seconds remaining of regulation time. It looks as though Johnny Harrison is being readied as a substitute, perhaps to waste some valuable seconds as we near this cup final's conclusion.
Always nice to get as many people on the pitch as well, you feel. Just for him, grace that Hampden surface, say he's won a trophy here. It does look like it's going to be going that way unless there's a seriously crazy end to this one. Just noticing there's not many players getting in the mixer here, just a little bit conservative.
Ball sent into the box, looking for Donaghy for that all important hat-trick goal. As we now tick over into the 91st minute. We've played regulation time, 5 minutes to be added, 5 minutes for FC Pather to save this cup final. They need 2 goals. Steins need Cam heads. What do you think, Daniel? Is there another twist in this tale to come?
I was going to say I wish I could say there was, but that makes it sound like I'm some sort of FC Pather ultra down there with my pyros. But no, I don't think so. I think Steins have been absolutely tremendous. I think they would fully deserve to get both hands on the trophy today. I think they're controlling it well as well. The mentality seems good. They don't seem to be exhibiting any signs of fear or shakiness in these closing stages. It would take something really special. Football and amateur football can deliver that, but Steins for me, I'd be very surprised.
Jack, would you agree?
Yeah, I just feel the amount the boys have exerted on the park, obviously, as I've mentioned many times, it's a big park out there in Hampden. It's a lot of running. I think just might not be enough left in the tank for that last push that's needed.
What have you made of the game as a whole? It's been an interesting one. It's been lively with a lot of action. I've really enjoyed it. Have you?
Yeah, it's been great. It has been a bit streaky. There's been moments with a lot of action and then some periods of down and then it sparks back up again, but it's been very exciting. 2 teams that have really went for it. Neither teams came here to sit in. Both teams have went to try and win the cup.
By the way, I'm interrupting you because that was an unbelievable touch from Declan Valentine. Sorry, continue.
Oh.
And now we can come forward with Declan Valentine again.
Will they take it in the corner or they go for another?
Valentine will knock it over to Allison. Allison just looks to try and slow things down. Steins just get a foot on the ball here.
I think you can see
the
frustration coming out.
Pushed in the back. Goes down. 3 minutes left of added time to play, and Johnny Harrison will get his moment. He will get the chance to play.
And you just know he'll be the one celebrating the most at full time. We'll be able to take the kit straight home, frame it, won't even need a wash.
And it will be Stephen Dunnicky, player of the match, who will make way for Johnny Harrison. Just how important and how impressive a performance have we just witnessed from Stephen Dunnicky?
I think it's impossible to exaggerate, to be honest, Adam. He's been absolutely phenomenal up front. Such a presence in there. I think he's done everything. He's giving it a large
standing ovation as well.
You know what? He absolutely
he's got the shirt
deserves
off as
it. Shirt off. I don't know how he's going to celebrate tonight, but genuinely been brilliant. Touch has been there, intelligence has been there, and the finishing, the all-important finishing, has been there. What a player! I think it would take a defender of Rio Ferdinand's magnitude to put him off in this stride.
It is McPherson just clips it forward for Harrison.
Nice bit of play there by Dixon. It's obviously not something that's probably going to
get
He's a
really good player, isn't he?
But seriously impressive. And listen, stage like this, you know, we're obviously going to talk about the winners. It's all about the trophy, taking it back to Allendale, etc. But it's a great platform for these players to show just how good they are and to enjoy themselves. Massive tackle there. But it's been great to see some of the performances from Pather as well, and full credit to these guys.
As Harrison is knocked to the ground. Strong challenge, lovely work.
Fantastic.
From Finlay Miller.
Some seriously strong tackles out there today.
I think he sprinted 40 yards there on the blind side and then gets across with the tackle.
It's a wee bit of adrenaline coming in.
94 minutes on the clock.
They can practically feel it.
Here's Falconer. This could be the final opportunity for what may just be a consolation, but the linesman's flag is up.
Stephen Donkey's down there. He's just with the rest of the subs, hands on his head. I wonder what's playing through his mind right now.
I've just been told by our stats man that there have been 52 throw-ins today. I find that hard to believe. I think he may have miscounted.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure
that's really something I've taken into account ever in my life or in my time watching football, is how many throw-ins there are. They don't even have that on gambling apps, I don't think.
Here's Allison. Just 10 seconds left to play. Steins are going to run down the clock. Good play by Allison, finds Chisholm. We have now played the 90 and the additional 5, and any moment now, Steins Thistle will be crowned champions of Scotland.
What will that mean, Adam?
That will mean everything to the travelling support, everything to the town of Allendale, Banknock, Denny, Bonnybridge, all the surrounding areas. But you don't need me to tell you, you just need to see the full-time scenes, which we will be bringing you on this YouTube live stream as Finlay Miller gets across. I think there are shouts from the dugout to bring an end to this one, and the referee obliges. The full-time whistle goes. Look what it means to those players, to those supporters. Steins Thistle have done it. Steins Thistle of Allendale are Scottish champions. Never in their 55-year history have they tasted success this sweet. And you can be sure that the 2,500 strong population of the village of Allendale on the outskirts of Banknock and Bonnybridge will be dancing in the streets tonight. What a moment for these players, for everyone involved at Steins Thistle Club, for Kevin Valentine, the manager, for goal scorers Kyle Allison and Stephen Dunnicky, who collected our Player of the Match award. Truly a moment to remember at this famous ground, Hampden Park. And what a game we were treated to here as well. FC Paither played their part in that. Steins Thistle got the opening goal after just 3 minutes with a header from Michael Wallace's pinpoint delivery. Wee Dixon then equalised with a fantastic top corner free kick. After 18 minutes, it was Kyle Allison who converted from the penalty spot. Steins then took a 2-1 advantage heading into the break. It was a solitary goal, chest and volley finish from a Dylan McCafferty cross. It's converted by Stephen Dunnicky for his second of the match, and to give Steins Thistle a 2-goal cushion. We'll be bringing you the trophy lift, the full-time scenes and reaction from both sides very shortly, so stay tuned for that. We'll be hearing from those who this means to most, the players, the coaches, those who make this club tick, and those who deserve it more than all. So after 55 years of hard work, of dedication, of all of that work in the community of Allendale and the surrounding areas to build a club for their community and for those kids, a lot of those kids grew up wearing the famous black and blue from their infancy through to teenage years, through adolescence, and now as adults can call themselves Scottish champions. Full time at Hampden Park, FC Paither 1, Steins Thistle 3.
So first up, we'll do a presentation to
That's a big moment there. Stephen Donaghy, man of the match today. Something we absolutely agreed on unanimously up here. Collects that trophy, crediting him for that performance, 2 goals, and indomitable in that striker role today. Pather players going up to collect their runners-up medals. Obviously, probably the most difficult walk in football, you'd have to say, Jack.
It's one I've witnessed many times here at this very stadium, but they can be proud of themselves. They had a great run to get here, and they've just that one last push a bit too much, but they'll still walk home with a medal. May not be a winner's medal, but it's something when they're done playing, they'll still be able to look back on and be very proud of.
Absolutely, and it was a spirited performance. They were very competitive, and some big moments for some of them too. I think Lee Dixon in particular, he's never going to forget that stunning free kick goal 9 minutes into the match. Just couldn't quite make it happen overall in the full 90. Pather today, they're not going to be able to bring that trophy back to Wishaw tonight, and all these celebrations that'll be missed. But what an achievement to get here. It's been a great season overall for them, and it's just such a shame to walk past that beautiful silver trophy on this occasion.
Yeah, and you know, they kept going for it for the full game. We were still seeing 93, 94 minutes. They were still trying to get forward, and they did have chances throughout the game. Taylor Scott as well, of course, had that great run which could have went so differently. We see our referees now getting their awards. They had quite a busy evening, but I think they handled the game well. Nothing went too overboard, so I'm sure they can be proud of themselves after their performance.
It's always a nice moment as well, actually, the officials finally getting their moment in the sun. It can be, even at amateur level, it can be so tough for them, the levels of abuse they would attest to themselves. But I fully agree with you today. I feel they really let the game run, and I don't think we can really comment on too many high-profile decisions that we can have any complaints with, or that either sets of players can. And what a moment now for Steins Thistle. 55 years they've not won this trophy, the pinnacle of amateur football, and they're walking up now for a moment that they'll treasure for the rest of their lives. This is what all the hard work's for. These losses that they've experienced in other finals, 2023 against Cooper Hearts, these ones that stung so much, it's not going to matter now. All those tears are washed away. What a feeling it must be walking up those famous Hampden steps. So many amazing players have come up there. We think about the likes of Callum McGregor lifting the Scottish Cup here last year. So many top players will be there, and now they can count themselves among them. How must they be feeling right now? What a moment for everyone in Allendale.
It'll be the fastest walk upstairs they'll have their full life, I can guarantee that. Just getting ready for the big moment.
Kevin Valentine, the manager there, the coaching staff, all those fans who have made the journey to Hampden Park today. And that is the trophy now going to be handed over. Chris Crawford gets his hands on it, and Steins Thistle are the 2025 Scottish Amateur Cup champions. What a moment that is. History made here at Hampden once again. And it's all glory in Allendale tonight.
If you're a landlord of a pub in Allendale tonight, you'll be rubbing your hands. I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations and plenty of few sore heads in the morning, but I'm sure they won't mind it all after the day they've had today.
At last, at last, at last. These are the moments you wait for in football. You dig in, you keep your patience, and all that hard work and bravery has come off. And look how those players are enjoying it. This is what the game's about. This is why we love it, and this is why people make the journeys, training every week. Adam mentioned the fixture congestion earlier. 4 games in 8 days, hard shifts at work. How much amateur players have to push through, even from that first steps, kicking a ball when you're a kid, lifting a trophy, celebrating with your teammates at Hampden is everything you dream of. And for these Steins Thistle players, those dreams have just come true.
And you know, these are all boys, they look like they're out on their feet towards the end there. They've all got their second win now. It's amazing what a trophy will do for you. But they deserve it, they really deserve it. They were excellent, they were the better team. Payford came, they tried hard, they scored an excellent free kick. But they're deserved champions. I mean, you can't fault them at all. I mean, the performance up front, solid defensively. I don't remember the goalkeeper making any sort of mistakes. Solid. And they can enjoy their celebrations. And it's not been a scrappy win. They've won by 2 goals. You don't win by 2 goals unless you deserve to win.
Absolutely, and we're seeing kids being taken on the pitch now. It's great that they can enjoy this too. It's not just about the players, it's not just about the coaches, it's about all the people that make these amazing moments possible, and football is very much for everyone. They are loving this. What were your personal highlights of that final, Jack?
Well, the free kick in the first half was very special, but I don't think we can really focus too much when it's not a decisive goal. I think that third goal, the build-up, there was a few kicks, a few pushes, but they scraped through, they got the ball down, they got it in the back of the net, and yeah, it won them the game really, because it kind of killed off the game as a tie. It made the game a different outcome. You know, they had to push more, Payford, and they could sit back, Steins, and kind of hold on to it. It changed the whole direction of the game, the third goal, and it was decisive and it was vital.
Yeah, I'm not trying to drown myself in a pool of cliches here, but that strong start really does just set the tempo. It's a game of 90 minutes, and coming in so early to, Wallace gets down the line, gets that ball in the box, an amazing header by Donachie. It just completely sets the tone for the final, lifts everyone, and I think that energy, to be honest, carried the momentum through the rest of the performance, and very consistent through the game, start to finish. Defence were really solid. Mentioned Oren Manson at times there, coming in with some really decisive blocks. Could have been so different though at 2-1. There was that huge chance for Kyle Emery. It looked like it could have been drawn level just before the break, but not to be, and these are the fine margins that decide football games and decide trophies.
And of course, at the amateur level, everyone's going to be here to see you triumph, all your friends, all your family, and there's nothing better than celebrating in front of those that mean the most to you.
Absolutely. I actually spoke to a couple Steins Thistle fans on my way up to the gantry, and they were just buzzing to make the journey, to be honest. It's amazing that even at this level so many people truly do care. You can think, oh, it's just, just the players and it's all about them, but these people just purely loved the club and came, and there's so much heart and so much joy that can be taken in that. So I hope these people are having a fantastic night, and I'm sure they will be now.
And they'll all feel a part of the club, they'll all be down there in their spare time.
And we're now going to hand over to our reporter, Adam Binney, who's going to be taking one of the post-match interviews here with 2 players from that Steins Thistle side.
Men who have made history here at Hampden Park, Stephen Donachie and Kyle Allison. Stephen, I'll start with yourself. 2 goals, man of the match performance. Does it get any better than this?
That's the best feeling. I've been here and I've lost, so it's good to be on the other end of it, definitely.
You mentioned that, those defeats that you've suffered, not only here with Steins Thistle, but with other clubs too, at Saturday and Sunday level. Does it feel like a relief almost to get this over and done with?
It's definitely to get over the line. It's it's good for the group of lads. It's a good group we've got, so glad to get over the line.
Talk to me about that first goal to begin with. It's so early in the game. What's going through your head when it hits the back of the net?
Well, actually, in these final we scored quite early with the exact same kind of play, so it's something we're kind of used to, working it down the wing and getting it in the box. So it's the way we kind of set up to play, so I'm glad it worked out.
Kyle, you've been here before, of course, a couple of seasons ago, losing the final. You've had semi-final defeats, but this year you managed to beat Cooper Hearts in the semi-final, and you get to the final now. Was this the goal at the start of the season? Did you make that distinct goal to say, we're here to try and win the Scottish Cup?
Yeah, that was the goal from the start of the season. We set out to get here and win it, and we've managed to get there and win it.
Did you believe it was possible?
I did, I believed, we've got a great bunch of boys. Can't fault anyone, everyone's put 100% desire and commitment, so that's what happens when you do that.
The early goal, of course, eases a little bit of the nerves, but how are you feeling throughout the match? Of course, this is such a big occasion on a pitch like this, the National Stadium. Is it possible to just play this like a normal game?
No, it's not. it's way overwhelming. The stadium's massive. There's lots of fans. There's lots of shouts. It was just great.
Just finally, I'll ask you both how you're going to celebrate tonight.
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing yet. Just go back to the pub with the boys and just enjoy it. Remember it. These times don't come round very often, so just enjoy it.
Stephen, I'll leave you with the final words. 2 goals today, man of the match performance. You can call yourself Scottish champion finally. Is there anything you'd like to say to any supporters or any Steins Thistle fans watching back home? I'll let you have the final word on.
I done this for my son Joel, so this one goes out for Joel Donachie. I done it for him. So
beautiful at the end.
And thanks to all the Steins fans who came out to support us all. It got us through the game, especially. There was some tough times during the game, so thanks to everybody that came out and supported us. We've done this one for years.
Stephen, Kyle, thank you so much. Well done, boys.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Well done, mate. Well done.